You're watching Force 13's live streaming service. Hello, welcome to Force 13 Live. Severe weather central once again for the United States over the next few days, and we are looking particularly towards a potentially dangerous severe weather event on Tuesday. We do have rounds of severe weather leading up to that, including today, which you can see on the screen right now. All kinds of stuff going on across many different areas of the US, with some pretty fierce storms leaving the coast of Florida. One or two severe warned storms across Alabama and North Carolina right now. And what is the main event of today, really, slight risk for northern Wisconsin into the upper peninsula of Michigan and even the very northeastern tip of Minnesota towards the Canadian border and Thunder Bay. Fascinating. My name is Nathan Foy here in the studio as always, and I'm joined by my team members who you won't be able to see, but they are over there in the background. We've got David with us, we've got Justin, and we have Maury, some of our regular faces of late on our severe weather coverage.
Yes. Good to be here.
It is, and on the graphic, we're looking at the National Weather Service's GIS viewer. A lot of the shape files that they do on here. One of my favorites these days, showing you the risk areas for today, and you see a lot of marginal areas. Indeed, we did have a slight earlier for Florida for those storms that have shipped off the coast, and we've still got the slight risk in effect further north, as you can see there as I described, which is very far north, but getting towards a time of year where we see those slight risks and more besides extending further north, guys, right?
Yep. Actually, yesterday there was a pretty decently sized slight risk for northeastern Montana and the Dakotas as well. Yeah.
So we're going to look. The first thing we'll do here is look through these outlooks, because we've got a few events that are going on. Obviously, there's day one. Let's switch to day two, and you can see that tomorrow we have an enhanced risk squarely over the center of Kansas, and you'll also notice another slight risk along the coast of Florida there as well. Is that going to be like a similar thing to what we're seeing today?
Pretty much, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's going to be fairly similar.
So the enhanced risk tomorrow, Maury was just talking about it off air before we began. It's 5% tornado, and you were wondering whether it might possibly go 10 sig tomorrow.
I don't think it is. I've looked at it. It is a fairly linear event. Now, not all of it. Some of it towards the northern area of Kansas, near the Nebraska border, will have some supercellular type storms. So that might be the main area we would have to watch, but really it does seem like a linear event, so I don't think a 10 hatched is necessary.
The hail areas there is 15 sig, but what's driving the enhanced risk is wind.
Considering...
Sorry? What was
I
that?
was just...
Okay, David, go ahead.
I was just going to reflect back on the last two streams where we've been live, and the picture has changed.
With regards to Sunday?
Well, the previous...
no, I have noticed that a few times. We have seen tornado upgrades, haven't we? I'm not just talking about the upper echelon events that we've been covering lately.
Yes.
I'm going to actually touch base on tornado upgrades real quick. The tornado that actually hit Barnesville, Oklahoma, as well as Bartlesville, was up to 180 miles per hour instead of 170.
Oh, and what category is that?
EF4. which would also make it the strongest tornado in Oklahoma since the Moore 2013 EF5.
Just
Just
remind me,
thought
what's
I'd
the
mention
threshold for EF5?
201 and higher.
201 and higher. That was day 2 we were looking at there tomorrow. Day 3, this is Monday. You can see it's a slight risk there. So we're not sure about that yet. But day 4, which is Tuesday, and that is where we've got a 30% severe weather risk there. And you can see the areas that it covers. It looks rather like an egg yolk, actually. From Kansas City up northeastwards towards southwestern Wisconsin, including large parts of Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, and far eastern Kansas. So, Justin, tell us all about this event on Tuesday.
Actually was discussing this, for those watching the stream, I was actually discussing this with Nathan before we went on air. The Storm Prediction Center for Tuesday's risk, and just let me turn my AC off real quick. The Storm Prediction Center stated for Tuesday's risk, while damaging wind gusts will be the primary hazard, large hail and tornadoes will also be possible. So, hypothetically speaking, what I'm thinking is if they end up pulling a moderate risk for Tuesday, likely, not like certain, but likely, that is, it's mainly going to be a wind-driven moderate risk with maybe an enhanced risk for tornadoes, like a 10% hatch tornado risk or whatever. But my thoughts is it's going to be just like the SPC is saying, it's going to be a wind-driven event.
Now, it's still quite far away for our mesoscale models, but we got the NAM 12K, which is looking at it here, and you can see how it develops there on Tuesday. It's that low-pressure system that moves in. Oh, my head's in the way, just a second. Just turn my head off. There it is. This low-pressure system moving through, and on the tail end of it is where we get all the action. According to the NAM, starting around 21Z and lasting all the way, well, entering the main area at 0Z, which is getting in well into the evening. So interesting if that schedule holds up there, but NAM shows it being very bitty. There's loads of holes in it, but I looked at the GFS as well, and it has a much more robust system moving through.
Yeah, my guess is what I think the NAM's going with here is potential discrete supercell mode.
It could be.
Yeah. Which, if that happens, that's not good. Because that means you're going to have supercells that are potentially completely isolated and have nothing out ahead of it the entire time.
There's the GFS. Obviously, the resolution is quite low, but some pretty nasty colors in there. Also, a few gaps towards the bottom end as well, which is probably going to be the concerning point. Missouri into Illinois there. So, definitely possibly supercells. It actually looks a bit like a question mark. And into Wednesday, it eventually, well, there's still some of that event left into Wednesday morning for Illinois and Indiana and maybe Ohio. So, but SPC didn't mark anything out for day 5. They actually marked day 6 further south.
Yeah, I'm gonna actually read day 5 discussion real quick. Okay. Forecast guidance differs quite a bit on Wednesday with regards to the evolving upper trough and low over the Great Lakes. Surface cold front will likely continue eastward into parts of Ohio and into parts of the Ohio Valley. A moist air mass will be in place, but degree of downstream destabilization ahead of likely ongoing convection Wednesday morning remains uncertain. The front will likely stall across the mid-south into the southern plains as upward support moves well north of the region. This could focus severe thunderstorm potential during the afternoon along a stalled boundary. However, tapping may be a concern given weak forcing aloft and a generally low amplitude upper pattern over the region. While some severe potential will exist, confidence is too low to include a 15% risk area.
I see. All right, that's interesting.
It's a confidence thing right now.
Yeah. We're looking at live satellite imagery right now of today's event across Wisconsin there into Michigan. And you can see some pretty decent storms blowing right up there right now with
Right along the cold front.
quite a few severe thunderstorm warnings. I'm seeing, I think, 4 that are active, 3 or 4 that are pushing along northeastwards. So
Actually, there's more than that now.
really?
We
Yes.
have 7 of them now. Yeah,
Hey, we've got a
4.
flash flood warning, National Weather Service, Morristown in Tennessee.
Oh, I see how you've got 7. Yeah.
Yeah, you got actually one of them just expired. You have 6 now. Yeah,
Two-
3 in
two of
Tennessee,
them-
3 in Michigan,
Oh,
3 in Wisconsin, 3 in Michigan. Sorry, David mentioned Tennessee, and I just called.
No, that's
Wisconsin.
fine.
okay.
And
there they
severe
are right now.
thunderstorms.
Ignore me. I've had a long day. Okay. Been outside of the heat and humidity all day.
David?
Yeah, the humidity will knock a person around. However, severe thunderstorm watch in Minnesota has been, I think, extended, and one new one issued a special marine warning. Marquette.
Marquette.
Okay. Yep.
And many severe thunderstorm warnings.
Yeah, there they all
But-
are. You can see this view. We don't get often end up this far north on our coverage, but there they are.
So we've got 24 warnings. So we've got 4 in Canada.
Oh, really? Some in Canada as well.
Yeah, 4
Yep.
severe storm warnings.
Yeah, you can see a few things popping off up there, actually. Yeah. Off the edge of our
But-
view.
Yeah,
A lot today-
Environment Canada and their comically large severe warnings be like. Dude, they're so big. The severe warnings in Wisconsin and Michigan right now, you could probably fit like 5 or 6 of those in the Environment Canada severe warnings that are active.
Well, there's probably much sparser populations.
Oh, actually, I will mention this though. I'm looking at the Shania radar, which is basically Thunder Bay. There's actually a storm north of Wraith, Ontario. It actually has a pretty nice hail quarter.
Wow. So it's all
Actually,
going on
yeah,
over there
well,
right now. If
Yeah, radar's picking up 71.5. Actually, no, 72 dBc hail core on it currently. Actually, quite impressive.
If you've got any comments or questions for us on today's stream, start your message with Force 13 all in text. It's we're not got a huge amount of structure right now, but we're mainly looking at today's weather, the rest of the forecast, tomorrow's enhanced risk, Monday's slight, and Tuesday's enhanced at least at this point. And feel free to send in your comments. Maury, you're looking at another model run, I think. And they are looking at...
The GFS.
Oh, it's the
The
GFS again.
Yes. So the GFS points out that there will be sort of a line of storms that moves through the general Mississippi Valley between Illinois, Missouri, and Iowa. These will eventually congeal into a larger line as they approach towards the Chicago area, towards Indiana, and these storms will probably pose a severe threat all along their lifetime. Mostly for damaging winds, like they said. But, we could also have those spin-up QLCS tornadoes, and any supercells that form in front of the line will have lots of moisture to work with. This is a clear indication of the moisture that we have in this area. So they'll have lots of moisture to work with. This is the Cape. And it is uncapped Cape. So
What are those
that-
Cape values there? I can't see the scale.
4,000 almost.
4,000.
3,500. So that's a decent amount. Definitely a lot of energy for these storms to work with. So If there is any supercells that form out of the line, then that will have that tornadic potential. But mostly it does seem like a damaging wind threat, so we'll have to wait and see with this.
Going to be an interesting event. Now, I know that in recent events, modeling gradually pushed the events back. Do we think that this will get pushed back to become more of a nighttime event?
Yeah, I think so. It does seem like it it's possible. However, the thing is, the environment doesn't quite extend to where those storms are located at those late night hours.
That's an interesting
Like,
point.
for example, at 3Z, near Chicago and towards the central Illinois area, there isn't enough cape. There isn't enough cape.
Is that the same
Also,
Cape graphic we were looking at? Where'd it go?
yeah, I know, it disappeared. So, definitely that shows that there might not be as much of a nocturnal threat, but it still is possible. You can see these 850 millibar wind speeds still exist in this environment, and it is possible to get some storms even without as much cape. But still, that is a necessary ingredient for storm survival.
That's an interesting look at those models then. And there is that progression on the GFS there, calling for Tuesday evening substantial weather, and of course marked 30% from the Storm Prediction Center. Let's toss it back to the current storms that are moving through northern Wisconsin. We're doing a little bit of toing and froing with forecasts and with actual live weather right now. So not a huge amount of live weather, but there's still quite a bit to be going on with. And certainly this flurry of storms, and some of them starting to appear quite profound, especially one of those middle cells just about to enter Michigan by the looks of things. Looks like it has a decent hail core from where I'm sitting, which is quite far away from it on the radar, but looks pretty decent.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a look at it right now. Oh wow, GR2 immediately loaded that. That was actually very helpful.
Well done.
Oh yeah, the cell that's like by Eagle River and all that. Yeah, actually a pretty decent hail core on it.
There they go. So these are the areas that are being impacted by the storms right now.
That warning was just updated. It's now capable of producing half-dollar size hail and 60-mile-an-hour winds.
Yeah. North of Rhinelander, there in northern Wisconsin, slight risk area. And the other one there near Merrill looks like it's lost its way a little bit, or lost its energy to a secondary cell behind it. So certainly a lot of action underneath those massively blowing up cloud tops. We're also seeing just one or two tiny things starting to blow up over Kansas now as well. A little cell there that'll be entering that marginal zone, and then we've got the other little marginal zone way out further west there. No severe thunderstorm warnings yet, but we have a few areas of special weather statements around the Denver area in Colorado and further east. So marginal risk there for today.
And those will be the storms that will carry into tomorrow, Monday, and then Tuesday.
I'm not sure that's the case. I think tomorrow may be Monday, but by Tuesday it's a new storm that's moving in.
Well, it's the same system. The same system that is causing all of this.
Are we sure about that? I can't recall. But this is off Florida right now, just showing you this view as well. Most of those storms are offshore, but my goodness, there's some really powerful ones in there. Maybe a little bit more earlier than there is now, but certainly might be seeing an interesting display off the coast right now, off Florida. And some more storms near Louisiana as well, the very southeastern tip in a marginal risk today. And I imagine it's that big bulk of stuff there that's going to be causing tomorrow's, was it tomorrow's slight risk in Florida as well?
Yeah.
along the east coast. So, and then we have the odd severe thunderstorm warning in Alabama. Is it still current? No. No warning still current there, but there is one in eastern Tennessee and one in North Carolina right now as well. One along Interstate 81, I think that was. Yep, and the other one is on Interstate 40 over Hickory. So if you're familiar with these areas, then they're under severe thunderstorm warnings right now as well as a secondary area of today's event, or maybe even you might want to call it a tertiary area. There's plenty of areas that are engaging with storms today. But the main threat is the slight risk further north in northern Wisconsin. So we're discussing that and all of the forecasts over the next few days. Well, we can talk about almost anything, but we also are a tropical channel, so I thought I would give you a little look at a storm active right now, and that is Cyclone Ayali, northeast of the fairly large island of the Seychelles Grande Terre. Populations being affected by the storm are very minimal, but the storm has been looking pretty good in the last 12 hours, strengthening to at least 60 miles per hour, and is a very low latitude, quite an unusual path, and is hanging around there at the moment, moving probably close to due west. So that's one of quite a few storms or systems that we've been tracking in the South Indian Ocean of late. And then you've got another one up there to the northeast, is hanging around about 2 degrees south, and that could end up developing into a brief tropical cyclone. So
93S.
93S, so that could be some crazy stuff going on right there. Let's get a question. We got Bob right now, one of our regulars. What will Pennsylvania be looking like in terms of severe weather for Monday through Wednesday? Do you want to take that, Justin?
Monday and Tuesday, severe weather chances are relatively low. Wednesday, I wouldn't rule out a severe thunderstorm or two, but most storms on Wednesday should be relatively sub-severe, although a few isolated severe storms cannot be ruled out.
There we go. That sounds about right to me. Yeah, I don't think there's going to be anything too crazy over there. I did notice that in the northeast United States, the temperatures are down at the minute, aren't they?
Yeah, it's because we're getting closer to sunset soon, that's why.
No,
About
I mean
2
in
hours.
general. Like tomorrow's highs are only into the 60s, aren't they? And
Oh, I see the reason. There's a low off the coast. There's a low.
Oh yeah, there's a low pressure system off the coast of Long Island, yeah.
Yeah, that must be bringing down a trough, and that
Yeah.
might be causing.
Meanwhile, a few places out west are much warmer. Indianapolis tomorrow, 81 degrees. And I was just talking about it with Justin off air as well. The lake effect, Chicago 77 and O'Hare 87 tomorrow.
Yep.
National Weather Service in Denver has issued a severe thunderstorm warning for the northeastern Lincoln
we've got some.
County in
Yeah, they
east
have.
central Colorado.
At 4:20, it goes till 5 p.m. Mountain Time. At 4:21 p.m., severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 8 miles southwest of Thurman to 6 miles south of Hugo, or along a line. What the heck? Extending from 18 miles northwest of Flagler to 17 miles southeast of Lyman, moving east at 30 miles per hour. 60-mile-an-hour winds are the hazard with it.
It is a little line moving along I-70 right now. So that's the first...
There's also a marginal risk there, so that makes sense.
That's the first severe thunderstorm warning of that particular event
area
today. And there's all kinds of little events going on. We've got that line there trailing, which you can clearly see on satellite imagery, extending down from that slight risk through to Kansas, and they're getting a few little bits of storms right now, but nothing warnable. And then you've got the other stuff in Florida and down in the southeast US. Dark Steve says that they're in Pennsylvania. It's supposed to be 76 in our area tomorrow.
Yep, it's supposed to have the heat that's over the central U.S. That will actually be slowly building into the eastern U.S. as over the next couple days.
So why don't we talk about what happened the other day, guys? We weren't really here on that, but
for those who don't know, a really powerful line of severe storms hit the Houston metro area.
I think everyone knows, Justin.
Well, you never know. There might be people who don't know, but that's the point.
It was on UK news. I mean, so
2 days ago, a really powerful line of severe storms rolled through downtown Houston. Not only did it produce a high-end EF1 tornado in Cypress, which is just to the northwest of Houston, with max winds of 110 miles per hour, downtown Houston also had straight-line winds of up to 100 miles per hour from this line. And as of about an hour ago, 7 people have been confirmed dead from that line.
That's pretty crazy.
And honestly, I would not be surprised to see that be a multi-million to potentially $1 billion disaster. Mainly because of the fact multiple skyscrapers in downtown Houston had windows blown out.
What kind of risk were they in for that?
I want to say I think it was a slight.
No, it was enhanced. It was enhanced.
And yesterday there was a special marine warning down in the Florida region for water spouts.
You think there might be any water spouts in those little cells off the coast right now?
Oh, easily. Oh, and yeah, Maurice, you were right. They were in an enhanced. I just looked.
But those cells are moving away from Florida, and indeed there is, well, there wasn't any warnings. There is just one that's just been issued now. I can't quite tell where that is. It must be close to West Palm Beach or somewhere like that.
Yep, that's exactly where it is.
Yep.
That's exactly where it is.
So there we go. West Palm Beach under a severe thunderstorm warning there.
Well, actually, they're not in the warning. They're just outside of it. Like, just outside of it.
Winston Chevrolet says hello from Naples, Florida. Nice to see you.
Hey. Yeah, they're just outside of it. The storm's warned for 60-mile-an-hour winds and quarter-size hail.
One of the few places in the US that I've actually visited.
Nice.
Pretty much all in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah. Alright, so this is the current picture right now. Let's go through those risks again for the next few days, in case you missed it earlier. So today's day one outlook looked like this, and we've got the slight risk, which extends up northern Wisconsin through the upper peninsula of Michigan, far west side of it, and extreme northeastern Minnesota there, and extending into Canada if they had the same risk categories up there. And then this
I don't think they even do, no.
No, broad marginal risk there across the southeast, including parts of Florida all the way down to Miami, actually, pretty much, and extending through almost all of North Carolina, just into a tiny hair's breadth of Virginia, including the town of Danville, I think it was. So that's day one, and it's mainly for... What is it for? It's 2% tornado there.
Yeah. It was wind-driven, I think.
Wind-driven again.
Yeah, I'll look.
Hail and wind both contributing 15% there.
Yep.
Day two looks like this. It's going to be possibly the second biggest event of the week. It's an enhanced risk there over central Kansas. You see a slight risk protruding to the northwest there as well. Also, another slight risk for the coastal region of Florida there, east central Florida mainly. Looking at tornadoes, it's 5% right now in Kansas, but I would say there is a little room there for a 10% to be issued. Looking at hail, it's 15 sig for western and central Kansas, and 15% standard in eastern Florida. And for wind, that's what brings out the enhanced tomorrow. There it is, 30 sig on the wind there. Did I say hail before? I can't remember, but that's the wind right there. They're 30% sig, and Florida as a whole there is around, what's the first category? Is that 5%?
Yep.
5% there. So that's day 2 in a nutshell, and day 3, there it is again. That's a slight risk there for parts of Kansas, Nebraska, Iowa, and Missouri. No sig on that. No significant severe outlook on that. It's a 15%. And then on day 4, which is what we're really looking at and wondering exactly what's going to become of that event, well, there it is, 30% on that one in parts of easternmost Kansas into a large part of Missouri, Iowa, and Illinois. And what they are saying at the minute is that it's going to be predominantly wind-driven, they're reckoning. But there is definitely scope, isn't there, for supercells and tornadic cells and all the lovely stuff besides. And if things get pretty hairy there, then we'll be doing live commentary on that. But still, the timing is a big question mark, whether it's going to be in the main hours of the day or whether it will be quite late on in the evening. Of course, it depends where you are as well. But 30% there, which already translates to an enhanced risk on day 4. So, would you say that chances of moderate are pretty high by the time we get to day 1?
Yeah, definitely pretty high. Yeah.
Oh,
Well,
great!
it does happen quite frequently where you get a 30% risk on one of these day 4 outlooks, and then it eventually becomes a moderate.
It's natural. I mean, as their confidence grows in what's going to happen, then those percentage chances are only going to grow.
Yeah, April 27th is a good example of this year.
You mean April 26th, rather?
I know there was a good example this year. Maybe it was that one.
Yeah.
But I can barely remember what happened yesterday, so... Which one was that?
It was the one that produced that EF4 in Oklahoma, not the Barnsdall one, the other one.
Yes, I think I recall. Wow. It's been a busy few weeks, or it was a busy few... Well, we had a bit of a reprieve just now, didn't we? But it's piping up again.
Yep. Actually, I saw a couple days ago there were signals that there were severe weather signals. I saw a couple days ago on Twitter that were saying the end of May could potentially be very active in terms of severe weather activity.
How do we know?
We won't know until it happens.
Well, yeah.
Or as the days draw closer, rather.
I mean, what's the basis of this, not quite prediction, but signals?
It depends on, like, the position of the troughs and whatnot.
So we're looking at long-range models then, I guess.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
And is it something that... I mean, I don't know who's picked up on that, but is it stuff that based on, like, the GFS, or are they looking at climatical models, or what?
Hang on, I'm looking.
I think it's the GFS.
Let's
In the
see
ECWF.
Let's have a little look at long-range GFS. There's an event going on the 26th, I can see. there's some cells blowing up
Oh,
across
what the heck did I see it?
Texas and then further northeast, and then some. I mean, using just the GFS, I see lots of sporadic severe weather, but I don't see anything that major. Obviously,
Yeah,
we're
I
looking
forgot where I
way
saw
out.
it. Hang on.
So I think yeah, it could be active, but maybe not active in terms of extremely strong storms.
Yeah.
But there certainly could be. You can never rule it out, can you? Really, especially at such a long range.
Yep.
Some other comments here from Winston Chevrolet there in Naples. Some of the storms are forecast to make it down here tomorrow, and the Naples Pier still hasn't been repaired. Still hasn't been repaired since Hurricane Ian.
God.
Yeah, I was. Yeah, disappointing. Because I've been to that pier as well. It's pretty crazy.
You've been pretty much everywhere in Florida, let's be honest.
Oh, I haven't.
That was a joke.
I haven't been to Tampa, or Tallahassee, or Pensacola, or Jacksonville, or
Yeah, no, that was a joke.
pretty much all other places though. I'll tell you what. All right, but yeah, Ian. You know, so many piers were destroyed by that storm.
Yeah.
All right, this is what's active right now. This is a live view across the United States showing a handful of severe thunderstorm warnings. There is currently one in Colorado out there on the left-hand side, as well as several in the slight risk zone in northern Wisconsin into the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. The ones further south are gone. There were two not long ago. There's one in Tennessee and one in North Carolina, and they are disappeared. And there's still that one down there in Florida near West Palm Beach that's currently active as well from those cells moving along. But for a lot of other parts of the US, it's a quiet day.
I'm looking at the West Palm Beach airport radar. Looks like there's actually a little bit of a kink in that line.
Oh, joy.
Like just to the northwest of Sun Valley and Rainbow Lakes.
Well,
It's
here's a view of it right now.
It's the TP-BI radar.
I'm not going to home in on it, but maybe Maury's doing that. I don't know. Oh, Maury is. Okay, well, we may as well have a look at that. As soon as I can find my window. There it is. Alright, what's going on here?
You can see there is a little bit of a kink developing. It doesn't look too intense at the moment, but
It looked bigger before.
yeah, it does seem like it is weakening a little bit. It is congealing into the main line. There was just a new severe thunderstorm warning issued on it, 1-inch hail and 60-mile-per-hour winds. No tornado possible tag on that though, so it does seem like that the tornado threat is still fairly unlikely, unless if it reaches out to sea because of the waterspout threat.
Meanwhile, back further north to the main event of today, certainly some nice looking cells blowing up there, and a few of them will be providing significant hail, no doubt. But really nothing too insane there, but certainly some storms to be keeping us busy with there, drifting northeastwards, and from what we've heard, quite a few over there in Canada as well. David, you got any news for us right now?
Just looking at the radar on various sites over there in the States, but nothing really going on, although there's some of the activity, some nice hail calls. But I'm just looking at the one, the activity over West Palm Beach, down there in Florida.
Yeah, we were just looking at it. And also for the second time on our coverages this year, on our bottom bar, we've got a 100-degree day forecast for somewhere tomorrow, and it's Phoenix, Arizona, of course, 102, which...
And Death Valley as well.
Death Valley's not on my list, but they're 108 tomorrow, and funny enough, 1% chance of precipitation. I don't know how.
1%.
I don't know how in Death Valley, but it's usually 0.
Fun fact, by the way, I'm not sure if a lot of people know this. Death Valley is actually the lowest point of the United States.
Yes.
I think it's 292 feet below sea level.
Wow.
That's a fair drop. However, the National Weather Service Miami
Oh, yes.
has issued a storm warning for the northern Broward County and
282 feet
southeastern
below.
Florida,
one.
southeastern
Yeah, we
Palm
already went
Beach,
over it.
and southeastern
Yeah,
Florida.
there's another one.
Yeah, there's another one, Justin.
Oh, it just showed up for me then. Oops.
So that one's further south. Deerfield Beach and Boca Raton underneath that one.
And Coral Springs as well. They're just
Coral
inside
Springs?
of it. Just inside of it.
I
They're like
mean,
right on the edge of it, actually.
it's a storm, but it looks very, very messy.
Oh, I want to be
50
surprised
mile
to
per hour
see
winds.
wouldn't be surprised to see a flash flood warning issue there soon. That storm is moving at a snail's pace.
Ugh.
Moving northeast at 10 miles per hour.
It's a flash flood warning. National Weather Service Greenville for Pleasant Gardens to Marion. Oh no, that's ended. So
And
Also, Nathan, I just want to touch base on this real quick. That new severe warning in Florida, north of Fort Lauderdale. Both that storm and the one for West Palm Beach are generating outflow boundaries along it. Off of it, rather. And there's also another boundary that goes from the northwestern Miami suburbs all the way to the Broward Palm Beach County line. So once those outflow boundaries and that boundary collide, I would not be surprised to see more storms initiating off of it.
wow. That'll be soon, will it?
Yeah, very soon, probably in the next 10 minutes or
Oh,
so.
God.
Pretty much at a random stream.
Yeah, we'll still be here. And whilst we're talking about end of stream, I just want to point everyone's attention, especially Storm fans, to the 2023 Pacific Typhoon Season What Might Have Been is coming up as soon as we finish tonight's stream at the top of the hour. So it's one of our yearly animations that's always anticipated. So look forward to that. We had to put it back an hour because of this stream. But let's go through some active flash flood warnings right now so everyone's on the same page here. There's a flash flood warning until 8:15 p.m. for southern McDowell County, which is, I think it's North Carolina there, for Marion, Pleasant Gardens, and Glenwood. Another flash flood warning for southeastern Lee County in southwestern Virginia. A flash flood warning for northwestern Caldwell County in western North Carolina, and for west central Anderson County and east central Morgan County in eastern Tennessee, northeastern Rear County and west central Roane County in east Tennessee, and that's all of them actually. So all in that general area there that has been affected by a bunch of rain showers and storms today. And I imagine maybe even now that these places have been more susceptible since all the storms that we had last week or whenever we did that last live stream.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably the soil is still recovering from that.
We have a few more severe thunderstorm warnings for the slight risk area. Some more on those storms moving off northeast. I don't have places listed on this, but is that a tornado warning?
No.
Oh no, it's just a funny shape on your screen. I thought it was a tiny tornado warning then, but it's just a red square.
Yeah.
What is it?
Which red square?
That red diamond thing.
Oh, these are hail reports.
Hail reports in red.
Yeah, there's been a 2-inch hail report near Ironwood, Michigan. Already from these storms. So these are producing some hail cores and definitely producing some larger hail. There's also been a few 1.5-inch hail reports and 1.7-inch hail reports too.
By the way, I just want to take note of this real quick. The storm north of Fort Lauderdale is starting to rotate a little
Oh,
bit,
come on. Are we doing this?
sadly.
Maury, can we have a look?
It's starting to develop a hook on it. It's hard to tell, though. Actually,
I'm not convinced.
yeah, it's
If-
hard to tell if that's rotation or not, actually.
You can see a small hook over here.
That?
Small hook. It's not that concerning. Yeah, there's some rotation. Not that much, but there is some. There is some. Near Lakewood East.
All right.
I'm mostly looking at the storm near Lake Worth, Florida, for potential rotation. It's not too bad at the moment.
Yeah,
but-
by the way, that storm heading into Lake Worth, 55.8 thousand foot tops on that thing, by the way.
Whoa. I did
And
see
may
it
I
blowing
also
up,
add,
but-
this is only standing at 1,500 feet up, so.
Sorry?
This is off the radar beam height here is only 1,500 feet.
Yeah.
Ha! The irony. You have the Gulf Stream along the coast of Florida, and there's actually a place in Florida called Gulf Stream. The irony.
Yeah.
they're actually
You're
under the
always
water.
loving those
Actually under
ironic
that.
stuff, aren't you?
Yep.
Yeah. So how was your weather today, Justin?
Very humid. Very humid. I actually kind of wish the sun stayed behind the clouds all day, because when it was behind the clouds, it actually felt nice outside.
And your temperature?
Oh, wow, actually. And something interesting to note. The Palm Beach International Airport Mesonet site right now is reporting a dew point. A dew point of 82 degrees. The actual temperature is 88.
I noticed there are heat advisories out. In
Yeah,
South
I'm not
Florida.
surprised, honestly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen very warm temperatures in Florida. Some of the models are depicting up to 100 degrees. Of course, this isn't like atypical for Florida during this time of year, but it still is pretty dangerous for those that are caught up there. Those
It was
100
great.
degrees.
Compiling the
By the way-
temperatures is 97 tomorrow near Lake Okeechobee, and so I imagine it'll be a high heat
Nathan.
index.
You want to know what that would make the heat index in Palm Beach right now?
Uh-huh.
108 degrees.
108 degrees.
Yep.
Is it not under any of these storms?
Well, you also gotta figure, where did I see it? You also gotta figure, though, this was, before the storms. And actually, it just updated 85 degrees with a dew point of 80.
Curious.
And also,
So temperature's gone down a bit.
North Palm Beach County Mesonet site, 82 degrees with an 81 degree dew point right now. And this is as of 18 minutes ago.
Well,
And actually, you have another one, Latana, 86 with an 80 degree dew point.
Yeah. Well, what did you just circle, Maury?
I don't know. I did see this small area of rotation developing near Lakewood East still. I'm just still pointing that out. It still exists, but
Oh yeah, Mark. Yeah, there's actually rotation near Market too, or Market.
yeah, I was watching that. It does
Oh,
seem
gosh.
like it is strengthening a little bit, but it's not like too concerning at the moment. It's just I do think that this could
It's eye catching basically.
it's eye catching. It's eye catching. And especially with this hook the storm is producing, it does seem interesting.
Yeah.
No new warnings in the last 10 minutes or so, I think. but we still have a few severe thunderstorm warnings active. The last one that was issued was for northeastern Lincoln County, southeastern Oneida County, and northwestern Langlade County in north central Wisconsin, and that's what Maury's looking at right now. It might be the same cell. Certainly one of those. And actually, just looking at the latest, there's only, yeah, it's only that. Oh no, there's 2 cells that are warned right now, and there's one in Michigan. Look how tiny that polygon is.
Oh yeah, that is pretty tiny.
Oh my god, what the heck? Why so small, dude? What the heck?
That's strange. Feel free to ask any questions. We're here for just another 10 minutes before we're going to finish up and put it onto the animation. Well, the stream will stop, but there's an animation coming out at the top of the hour which you might be interested in. So that's all we're really doing here right now. Tomorrow, I imagine, I don't know if we're going to be doing any live coverage, but we could be back here talking more about Tuesday, as well as covering some severe weather on that enhanced risk. I don't know what our schedule is yet, or whether we're doing 413 Sundays or not, or whether we might be able to blend the two, or I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Probably blend the two, honestly.
Yeah, but if we get a tornado warning during 413 Sundays, what's going to happen? I mean, you'll have some of our folks who are just there to chill out and have fun, which is what Sundays is all about usually.
True,
And then you'll just get this, I don't know, but I'm sure people will understand. So, a few severe thunderstorm warnings active. So, why don't you give us some of your personal thoughts, guys, about what you think will happen on Tuesday then, before we finish?
I mean, honestly, the main threat does seem to be damaging winds, but of course, as you've seen with these last few events, there always is that threat for tornadoes to develop, and even if they don't develop, the damaging winds could be a concerning threat. Definitely to some people, it may impact your life. It'll definitely really depend on the dynamics of the weather, but still, there is what we're expecting is somewhat significant severe weather on Tuesday for areas of Iowa, Missouri, and Illinois.
Justin?
My guess is for Tuesday, we're gonna see like a mixture of, sort of like a semi-discrete and a linear mode. So, although I am leaning more towards a linear mode right now. However, though, we've seen this in the past on multiple occasions. Don't let linear severe weather mode fool you. Tornadoes can and will happen on Tuesday. Even if it doesn't matter if it's linear or discrete, tornadoes can happen. Tornadoes could easily still happen on Tuesday.
And just one other thing for you, Justin. We were looking at early on the models. When it gets later into the evening, it looked like Cape was going way down. Do you think that the conditions for storms will rapidly decrease later on in the evening?
I wouldn't say rapidly, but gradually, yeah.
All right. David, how about you?
Well, I think Tuesday will be the main day, a matter of timing. The tornado risk remains. It's not going to disappear. The wind and hail threat is also there, but the key point is be prepared and monitor the various weather sources.
So interesting to note, severe thunderstorm warning for the Lake Worth area in Florida. Hail threat has now been up to observed, which means someone inside the warning reported quarter-size hail.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And we're looking at it right now.
Although it looks like the storm is starting to weaken, though.
Maybe.
Yeah,
It's just about to reach the coast.
Yeah.
So, some interesting storms going on along there. certainly keeping things interesting. I imagine, given how hot it is, people probably won't be complaining too much if the storms aren't too heavy.
Well, here's the thing, though. They actually will probably be complaining more because it's making the air more humid. So
I did think that when I said that, but
yeah,
it seems like it was already humid enough, right?
yeah. Which is why I will never move to Florida, because I'd rather deal with the humidity here instead of, to put it lightly, hell on earth down there with the humidity.
Yes.
Well, sometimes it can get a bit like that here as well with humidity, but yeah, generally it's all right. Maximum here is 73 degrees.
Right now it's like
53% here.
Yeah, and our current temperature now is 60. 60 degrees at midnight, so that's how we are.
And here nationally in Australia last week, the Bureau of Meteorology formally put us on the La Nina watch.
Oh, God.
So the La Nina is coming back probably as early as July, which will mean more rain.
Definitely, and on that note, we're going to finish up here. Don't forget to watch the West Pacific What Might Have Been animation coming up shortly.
Woo.
Woo, indeed. But from here, we're going to play out. And my name is Nathan Foy. I was joined by Maury, David, and Justin for that hour of discussion, and an interesting discussion it was. I'm sure we'll have more to talk about as the days go by. Look out for any further live events that we'll schedule ahead of time, and you can check us out on social media as well. If you want to support us, there's links in the description, many different ways you can do that, and we appreciate every one of them, even just watching our stuff. Very important. And we'll see you again soon. But for now, we'll leave you with a quick view of the current storms over northern Wisconsin and western Michigan. Good night.